Welcome back to Mo's Minute. We are here at the Nimitz House on Yerba Buena Island, and faithful viewers will remember my episode on Admiral Chester Nimitz, who's buried like a half an hour from here in San Bruno at Golden Gate Cemetery. Well, this was his last house. He died in this house in 1966. So, Yerba Buena Island was originally known as Goat Island, and the military presence on this island began around the time of the Civil War. There's a lighthouse that's on Coast Guard property. Like I said, there's still Coast Guard presence here. And there's a lighthouse that's still on Coast Guard property that was built in 1875. It is not available to the public. Trust me, I checked. But this house kind of is. It's on the National Register for Historic Places, which is how we've been able to get right up to here. But you can't go inside anymore because it's not safe. And I'll get to that. So it was originally known as Quarters 1, and it was built at the turn of the century around 1900, 1901. And it's a mansion, 3 stories, over 5,000 square feet. And even after Admiral Nimitz died here, he was one of the few, if not the only, naval officer to return to a military base after retirement. But he really loved this house. So this was where he was living at the time of his passing. But even after he died, it was still known as the commandant's residence. So the last commandant moved out in 1996, and since then it's been vacant. It used to be a venue. The city would rent it out for parties and stuff for $500. Herbert Hoover was here in 1933 for the groundbreaking for the new Bay Bridge, and so it's seeing its share of parties and dignitaries over the years. In 1989, during the 89 earthquake, the Bay Bridge collapsed, and so it became clear to everybody at that point that the Bay Bridge needed a revamp. And that had to happen soon. And at the time, this was still Coast Guard property. And they didn't want a bridge going over it that would ruin the aesthetic of the building. And so there was a battle between the Coast Guard and the city of San Francisco for years. And that finally ended in the year 2000 when the Coast Guard transferred the parcel of land that this house sits on to the city of San Francisco. So while there's still some Coast Guard property on this island, right here this area right here where I'm standing is owned by the city of San Francisco. So then the new Bay Bridge was built and it came right over this house. So now this house has definitely seen better days. Millions of cars were coming over the bridge every single day, and the porch I'm standing on is sagging, and there's there's cracks in the marble, and that used to be a fan, and it's car exhaust and everything is this building is disintegrating very quickly. So I wanted to come here and see it before it turned into the Redmond Hero Horror House. This is the Nimitz House, 125-year-old classical style mansion right here on Yerba Buena Island. Super easy to get to, and you can get right to it, but you can see all around that it has definitely seen better days. But so that is the story of the Nimitz House, and thank you for tuning in, and we'll have more information for you soon. Bye.